When I was 20 years old, I walked up the Eiffel Tower in Paris. I was young, confident, free. Until then, I'd never had a problem with heights, but halfway up that windy tangle of 100-year-old iron staircases, a switch flipped in my brain. A new kind of terror. I felt sick. My hands turned to broken glass. My entire nervous system instantaneously rewired. Gripped to the handrail in the elevator on the way back down, I knew something had changed. From that moment on, I was always at the mercy of my altitude. Aeroplanes, Ferris wheels, even a simple church steeple in Gdansk. Suddenly, I was in danger everywhere. Which was definitely on my mind when we decided to rebuild this place. I remember when we did the first roof on the gatehouse, I was terrified even at 2 meters up. But then, something interesting happened. Once I started to trust the scaffolding, I started to relax. After a while, I began to even love it up there. And as I progressed to the bigger, higher roofs, looking forward to getting back up there every day, I began to suspect that that little switch had flipped itself back. So when it came time to do the studio ceiling in the big barn, I figured it would be a piece of cake. I was cured after all. We had 450 square meters of beautiful American coastal pine from the local sawmill, rough sawn to help diffuse the sound, a few thousand screws, and a skylift. As I made that first slow ascent into the gods of the big barn, heckled by the awful grinding of the skylift motor, I saw an ancient shadow move over me. A bony finger reaching for that little switch in my brain. I soldiered on, managing a few boards, but the growing ocean of dread in my mind and my fingers meant I could hardly hold my impact driver. Elsa talked me back down, and I knew then that I wouldn't be able to do this on my own. So I called Isak, carpenter, trained acrobat, altitude fanatic, and my good friend from the next village. Suddenly, we had a dream team. Isak in the basket 8 meters up, me at 4 meters on the scaffold, and Elsa cutting boards down below. Because we had such a huge space to cover and not too many extra boards, we knew we had to be quite smart with how we cut them. The layout of the purlins meant that we would take measurements for each section, stick to this layout for all the cuts, and it would leave us with minimal waste. As for the boards themselves, this thing of having wide boards with a little strip covering the gap in the middle is a pretty big thing here in Sweden. It means that you can work with wet timber fresh from the sawmill, and as the boards dry and shrink slightly, the gap is covered by that little lock panel, as it's known. This is the hook block for the old crane system in these barns. It was hanging right in the way of the skylift, so we had to lower it. The old motor for the crane still works actually, and I did briefly get it running. But after our neighbour told us that he once saw a barn pull itself down when the cable mechanism got stuck, we decided to cut the cable instead and lower it with the skylift. Well done, guys. We've upgraded the skylift. We took a week off and now we're back. There he is. Yeah. Making good progress, aren't we, Isak?
Good,
yeah.
very good.
That's the system. The system. A, B, C, D, all numbered up. It's all such a beautiful bit of engineering. Huge pieces of wood and steel lifted 9 meters in the air and bolted together 100 years ago to frame the barn. Getting very close. Everything about this place is awe-inspiring. The skill and craft on display here is truly humbling. And to be adding a ceiling to this epic structure gave me a whole new connection to this place. Ever since I first saw this barn in the flesh, I was struck by its volume, its presence, the history and stories built into its timbers. And here we are adding a finer layer, upgrading the picture, expanding its capabilities and pulling it into a new dimension. So, in order to finish off this last bit, very tricky with the skylift, we've decided we're going to build the ceiling of this, what's going to be the shop and storeroom, so that we can stand on that and we can build scaffolding off of it to finish off the last bits up there. And that involves putting in this massive steel beam from there across to there, and then building a new floor structure. Sometimes I feel it's afraid of the road ahead, intimidated by what we were expecting of it. Maybe it was happy just being left to return to the ground like some huge red wooden elephant. But I think it's getting used to the idea. Perhaps it's silently curious, patiently open-minded, a mysterious but generous beast. That's all the boards on. It's just the ends of these battens now. The last little bit, yeah, but everything else is done. Yes, Queen. Next time, the roof.